Pierre, you need no introduction, but I love that play. It is iconic. What are you thinking watching that?
It's a great memory. The best way to start a career in Washington D.C. Honestly, it was a dream start.
2012 season opener. You had 4 grabs for over 100 and a touchdown. RG3, of course, like unbelievable. And when I watch you, I'm like trying to think like, gosh, we missed that in the league. I think we have it a little bit with Puka Nakua in like the
Hmm.
toughness, like the strong, precise route kind of vibes. Do you see that comp or do you see yourself in any receiver that we have right now?
I do see that, and Sean McVay was my coach when I was in DC, and he always talks about Puka and all the other coaching staff that were there. And you always love seeing guys play hard, and that was always my intention. And when guys are playing hard on Sunday, it just makes you feel proud and happy that those guys are taking full advantage of that opportunity in that moment.
Pierre Garçon joining the show. Like I love talking to you. I love like when I think about like after catch, like you after the catch was just like, for a fan, everything was so insane just across the board watching you. You spent 11 years, so accomplished in the NFL, 2013 receptions leader. Happy to have you here. And now we're working on our golf game. Like what's your journey to become a scratch golfer? It looks alive and well.
I got some work to do, but that's the game of golf. I'm a competitive guy, very competitive, so try to do things the right way and think the long way, and hopefully, it'll get better. Hopefully, I get to scratch.
I think you will. If I know anything about you and just your tenacity with that. We just showed that RG3 highlight. Obviously, that was his first game. He posted a video on TikTok a few days ago, and the caption was, "I got one more in me. Should I come out of retirement?" Did you see that? What do you think?
Quarterbacks can play for a long time, as we can see. RG3 is an athlete. He understands the game now. He's throwing the ball as fast as he's always have. So I wouldn't put it past him because he loves the game. He's still young.
Yeah, you just mentioned obviously Sean McVay. I think he was the tight ends coach, right, back then?
Yes.
Yeah,
Tight
back
end
then.
coach, offensive coordinator too as well. He moved up.
Yeah. And then you have history with Shanahan. Let's just get right into that. He was your OC in Washington and then later brought
Yes.
you to San Francisco where they just signed Brock Purdy to a new
hmm
deal.
hmm
How do you feel about that?
It was a long time coming. If there's somebody to pay it, somebody on the roster, so you can get that noise out of the locker room and start focusing on other pieces to get the Super Bowl champion, because that's what Kyle's playing for. That's what that offense is designed to do. And I'm hoping that he gets over the hump. And he always knows that I have the best intentions for him and his team and love all his game plans. So I'm looking for them to do it. And I'm glad they signed
Five
Brock Purdy.
years, 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
265 million. I mean, you had
It's a good time to be a quarterback.
you had your best statistical season under Shanahan. That was your 113 catch season. I guess, when you look at Kyle, I should have all the faith in the world in this offense. And there's a lot of changes, but I'm not concerned about the Niners offense. Are you?
No, not at all. Once the quarterback is settled down, the players around him can make plays for him, and that's what Kyle designed. They get the ball in the playmakers' hand and let those guys show their work. And that's the job of the offensive coordinator, the head coach, put the ball in the playmakers' hand and have the quarterback throw touchdown passes. So I'm excited to see who they present this year and let us know who's going to be the next star of their offense.
You tell me who's the next star of their offense? Who's picking it up? Who's stepping up this year?
Man, oh man, you put me on the
Take a
spot
look at
with
that
that one.
list again.
Greg Jennings is a player that's fiery. Is he still? He's still there. Jennings. I hope
Well,
Aoki comes back.
Juwan,
Greg
yeah.
Jennings, an older receiver, but Juwan, I hope he's still there. And I hope Aoki comes back off of the injury because he is the playmaker of that offense now that Deebo's left.
Okay, so when Deebo leaves and he goes from the Niners to, I mean, that's like the Pierre Garçon connection special. Did you broker that deal? Were you involved in that deal?
Kyle Shanahan has a funny way of have irony around him. So, I'm sure it was a little bit of just faith. And Deebo is similar player as me, and Kyle Shanahan loves that. And Dan Quinn, no, Adam Peters is from San
Yeah.
Francisco, so we were all there together. So it was Faith that kind of brought us all together and back to DC, and we're happy to have Deebo in DC to help Jaden Daniels and our offense get to the Super Bowl.
What makes it okay? Hold on. That's a tall. How are they going to get past the Eagles? What you think?
you
Deep? What?
know,
Go ahead.
third downs are big in those games. Tough catches over the
Yeah.
middle are big in those games, and having a body in the middle of the field as always, and having the threat deep can win the NFC Championship game. In Philadelphia or in DC, but it's always a good game when divisional opponents play. So any Sunday could be our day, and we were one game away from the Super Bowl. So you just want to get to the game, and you're going to win it that night.
What was the moment that you knew Jaden Daniels is that guy?
You know, it's hard to say, but that Monday night throw,
Crazy.
that touchdown throw to Terry was he dropped it in the bucket, and that's one that you can't forget. And he was doing that in training camp too, and when they were showing like his first highlights on at OTAs this time last year, and it was like when you throw a good deep ball in the league, you're very dangerous to the defense.
What he said, I saw that he was saying that he's studying his tendencies this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
What's one thing that you think he's studying extra, that he's working on to take his game to even another level, which is not even fair because to expect this out of him his rookie season, I hate for him, but he wants to get there. What do you think he should work on or is working on?
Man, it's a great question. I'm not in the offense. I'm not watching the films. I'm actually just, being a spectator
Being
from
a fan,
afar. I as a player in the league, as you get older, you learn how to protect yourself when you're getting tackled. And we all want that longevity. And that goes many ways by, building your strength, your body up, as well as, protecting your body to slide better or protect, from not letting the defenders get a hand on you. And that would be the only tendency I think we naturally do as we get older and wiser in football.
Yeah, he's a young cat. So short TV break here, still live on YouTube. 2,000-yard receivers was you and Deshaun Jackson. In 2016. Do you think we see that again?
Oh, I think so. It could happen, especially when you have a thrower like Jaden Daniels. Those guys, once they get the ball in their hands, Deebo and Terry, they can make plays, with their legs. And that's what makes you even more special as a receiver. And, having those bodies and having help out of the backfield and having a running game too with Brian Robinson and a tight end that you can check down. It has options and everybody can open up for everybody else.
Yeah. I like that you mentioned Sean McVay. I wasn't going to ask you a question about him, but like Devontae Adams going there is crazy. And he's obsessed with Devontae Adams, like such a football, like I understand why, and his replacing Cooper Kupp out there. How does Devontae change sort of the fabric of the Rams passing attack, do you think?
It gives them a security blanket. Third down, they're going to go to him early and often. They're going to try to get the ball in his hands so that he can, feel like he's making an impact on the game. So, that's what Coach wants. Coach wants a security blanket, and it's not going to be hard for those guys to get on the same page. Matthew Stafford, Devontae Adams, and Sean McVay, because it's all basically going to be one-on-one, and what can they draw up to have fun and score touchdowns.
Who do you like in the NFC West? I feel like so Arizona's schedule is very favorable to start. You got the Rams with Devontae, can't sleep on them. I think people are struggling to think that the Niners are going to be back there with all of the changes. And then you've got Seattle, which is sort of, wide open. They bring in Sam Darnold, makes him. Who do you like? It's a wide open division.
It's hard to go against the Rams with veteran quarterbacks and veteran receivers and veteran coaches, but I'm looking forward to Arizona, taking that step. I think it's like a dark horse, outside of, root for Kyle Shannon and, Brock Purdy in San Francisco. But, just to make it interesting, I think Arizona has a structure a little bit together to surprise people.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for Kyler Murray to take it.
Pierre, do you know that I've never met Kyle Shanahan?
I've
never met him.
He's a great guy.
What is
guy.
he? What is he like? He won't like. I wanted to interview him like 90,000 times, and he's just like, no, 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 no.
Kyle Shanahan is a slot receiver, so he has the swag of a receiver that can play inside and outside. So he can do it all.
What?
You know, but that's how he's a football player. You know, he loves football. So you know, he feels we can do it all. He plays with his chest out. So it's a good person to be around, and he's riding with you all the way. And he loves his players, and he loves playing football. He loves everything football. So
he doesn't love maybe talking about it with reporters. But yes, there's Kyle Shanahan. Pierre Garçon hanging out on the Up and Adam Show. We have the exclusive YouTube breaks. We're back on the TV side now. Please subscribe to the YouTube as we sit here talking. In other receiver news, I want you to listen to CeeDee Lamb in this interview. Let's play it.
Oh, no, we both ones.
Yeah.
It ain't no A, B, none of that. It's one. You look over there, you see one. You look over here, you see another one. So do what you got to do with that.
So CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, they were at Kyler Murray's, speaking of Arizona, at a celebrity softball game this weekend. CeeDee says that. Do you agree with CeeDee? We'll both get the number one receiver treatment. Is that possible?
Yeah, well, obviously CeeDee's been there longer, so that's obviously set in stone. But, as far as game day, both of them are number ones. I've played with Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne together on the same roster, and it's great for the quarterback, to have two number one options on either side that he looks at. Obviously the numbers won't be, hey, you're number one numbers, but physically talent, both of those guys can play well. And I'm excited for those guys to be on the same team and for those weapons to flourish.
Was it similar for you and Deshaun Jackson, probably?
It was very similar. We always wanted the ball, but we knew someone was going to be open. They're going to do.
I think that worked because of you. We'll see I don't know what's going to happen with those two. Appreciate you. Good luck at your golf game. Keep grinding at that scratch, whatever that means. Appreciate you. We'll see you guys all tomorrow. Bye, Pierre.
Bye.